Desires is wealth and money. One day, there was a poor guy that used to stand in the first line behind the Prophet in his mosque in Medina. The Prophet one day, realizing that this guy comes every day before everyone else and prays exactly behind him, said to him, "Don't you work?" He said, "No, unfortunately, I'm a poor person." The Prophet said to him, "Okay, I will lend you one single dirham and take the money and go to the marketplace." He took the money, he went to the marketplace. He began to accumulate money. When he became wealthier and wealthier, he only started to attend the Dhuhr prayer. And he missed the Subh and the Maghrib and the Isha. And then he began only attending Jum'ah prayer. The Prophet said to him, "Why?" He said, "I'm rich and I'm busy. I have to attend to my job, to my work, to my businesses." He said to him, "But this is salat. It's more important. This is the means to increase your sustenance." He says, "Unfortunately, I can't. I'm too busy." I'll mention this between two brackets. My father said one day, I was praying in Abu Dhabi, in a mosque, prominent mosque in United Arab Emirates. He said a guy was sitting next to me. He said to me, "Sayyid, I don't think you should accumulate money. It's not good to earn money in this world. To live as a poor person is much better." So I looked at him. He was the richest Shia in the country. I said to him, "You're discouraging me from earning money, and you're the richest man." He said, "Because I'm the richest man, I'm telling you not to earn money." He said, "Because now I've got business everywhere. I have to listen to the news about the price of gold." He said, "Whenever the price rises, my blood pressure rises with it. Whenever it comes down, my blood pressure comes down with it. And my health is now connected to my businesses." If you're poor, you don't have to be concerned about these things. So this guy only attended Friday prayer until he didn't even show up for Salatul Jum'ah. You become rich, you think that you're a different person now. I'll also mention this between two brackets. A guy came to Amarja. He said to him that I have a bakery. And one day a guy came up to me and he said to me that you shouldn't treat me like an average Joe, like everyone else, like ordinary people. I said to him, "Why?" He said, "Because I have a Merc. I'm different. The car that I drive is different from the people that don't even afford to buy cars." I said to him, "Get lost." He said, one day, a guy came, before I opened the bakery, and he was dressed well, he had a fancy car. And he said, "Ah, I wish I was like you." I said, "Why?" He said, I'm a doctor, and I've got millions. I have buildings in different parts of the world. But unfortunately, I'm restless. I can't sleep at night. And one night, as I had insomnia, I left my house. I came to the bakery. I saw one of your employees lying down, and he was snoring. And I thought that this guy is enjoying life much more than me. I wish I was like this guy. I wish I was like this guy. So the guy didn't attend Salat al-Jum'ah. Then the Prophet called him. He said, "Why? You should pay your zakat." He said to him, "But I work hard and I should pay the zakat to you." He said, "Yes, you have to pay zakat for me." So what if I don't? The Prophet said, give me my 1 dirham back. Give it to me." He said, "Okay, what's 1 dirham?" He gave it back to the Prophet. He lost all his fortune. The following day, he was the first person praying behind the Prophet. Allahu Akbar. Our narrations tell us that life, this world, and the love of this world, and the affection that we have towards this world, is like the water of the sea. You feel thirsty, but the more you drink, the thirstier you become. You think that all you want to achieve in this life is, buy a suitable house, modest house, and then buy a car. That's all you need. And make sure that your children go to college and get the proper education. But that's not going to happen. When you earn the first million, you would go for the second million, and the third million, and the fourth million. Because the more you drink from the salty water, thirstier you will become. That's why Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are teaching us, although they had the chance to lead, to gain everything they would dream of in this life, but they were teaching us a lesson by saying that we know ourselves. إن الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة. When you become a millionaire, that means this will be on the expense of your religion, on the expense of your faith. One day, Abu Muslim al-Khurasani, he topples the Abbasid Empire, and then he sends a messenger to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He wrote a letter to him saying that I want you to come to Khurasan and become the leader of the Muslim Empire. The Imam, it was in the middle of the night. The Imam had a torch beside him, received the letter. He's asking him to become the leader. And by becoming the ruler, he can satisfy all his desires. So the Imam took the paper. He read it carefully. He knew what the guy was saying. And then he burnt the letter with a torch until it was reduced to ash. So the messenger said, what should I tell Abu Muslim? He said, tell him what you saw. This is who we are. And even when they became leaders like Imam Ali alayhi salam, they didn't use the advantages of becoming a Khalifa. I mentioned this one night. If Amir al-Mu'min goes to the marketplace, he says to the people that I can't afford buying dinner for myself. I can't afford buying a rida لو كان عندي ثمن إزار ما بعته. If I can buy clothes for myself, I wouldn't sell my shield. One narration says, a man says that I went with my father to the mosque of Kufa. I was small, I was young. He said, I saw this eccentric looking man who was on the pulpit doing like this to his clothes while delivering the Friday sermon. I said to my father, who is this guy? He said, this guy, he's Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the commander of the faithful, the master of the believers. I said to him, what is he doing? He said, he's only got one garment, and it's Friday. He washes it. He doesn't have a spare one to wear, so he wears it while it's wet. While it's soaked in water, then he dries it while he's on the pulpit. This is our example. So our traditions and our narrations aren't discouraging us from making money. No, you can make money, but make sure that you're not enslaved by money. Like the people that came to kill him, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, they were slaves of their desires. They were enslaved by money to an extent that some of the people that were killed by Imam al-Hussein and his companions, they searched their pockets after they were killed. They found few dates. This was the reward given to them by Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad to kill Sayyid al-Shuhada. Some people that wanted to join the ranks of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, they came from Iran. When they reached Karbala, the battle was over. So they went to Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. They said that we had the intention of taking part in the battle, but unfortunately we couldn't. So Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad gave each one of them a quarter of a golden dinar. And they were titled as Jama'at al-Rubu. These are slaves. These are the real slaves. That's why Imam al-Hussein, when he speaks about Hur, he said, you're the free man. Anta hurrun. Kama sammatka ummuk. Now I'll take you to Karbala. What happened in Karbala in the aftermath? That was tragic. Imam al-Hussein bade farewell with the women and children. But his wife, Layla, didn't come to bid farewell with him. Why? You know that a wife wouldn't bid farewell with her husband in public. They need their privacy. That's why they all came outside the tent, except for Layla. She didn't come out. When did she bid farewell with the Imam? Later on, when they went to the city of Kufa. They were humiliated there. But they had the head of the Mawla, of Abu Abdullah. Layla said, I want the head of Imam al-Hussein, give it to me. She took the head and she went to a corner of the hall that were sitting there. She took the head, she hugged the head of the Mawla. Assalamu alayka ya سيدي ومولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا قطيع الرأس منخمد الأنفاس عار اللباس في جندل كالجمر مصطلمي. What makes the calamity very difficult is the fact that the bodies are still lying on the plains of Karbala. Lady Zainab said to the Imam, أخي لو خيروني بين المقام عندك والرحيل. If they give me the option to stay with you or leave, لاخترت البقاء عندك ولو أن السباع أكلت من لحمي. I would rather stay with me even if the wolves of the desert eat me alive. And then 3 days later, the tribe of Bani Azad, after they made sure that the enemies are not there anymore, they came to bury the bodies, but they couldn't recognize them because they were all beheaded. Suddenly they see a man approaching from the city of Kufa. He was alone. They looked closely and it was Imam Zain al-Abidin. He came to see his father. He came to bid farewell with his father. They said to him that we couldn't recognize the bodies. And then he came to the most wounded body lying in the fields. He said, this is the body of my father Hussein. They tried to carry the body, but they couldn't because it was severed into pieces. So the Imam gathered the body, gathered the pieces, and he placed them on a cloth, and he lowered the body in the grave. He stayed there for a long time. They didn't know what was happening. And then when they looked inside the grave, they found the Imam kissing the neck of his father Hussein. And then he wrote on the grave, هذا قبر الحسين الذي قتل ظمآنا عطشانا غريبا في أرض كربلاء. This is the grave of the lonely man who was killed while he was thirsty, until he buried all the martyrs, all the companions of the Imam, and Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. They said to him, are the bodies all buried now? He said to them, بس واحد لفان الفوفات قللهم بطل ظل على المسنات. There is a hero lying in the banks of the Euphrates, my uncle أبا الفضل العباس. ما غسلوه ولا علفوه في كفنين يوم الطفوف ولا لفوا عليه رداء. يا الله 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 يا الله. إلهنا نسألك وندعوك بأحب الخلق إليك، عجل في ظهور صاحب الأمر والزمان. Hasten in the reappearance of صاحب الأمر والزمان. اللهم شاف به مرضانا، اللهم رد به مسافرينا، اللهم استجب به حوائجنا، اللهم ارحم به موتانا، اللهم ارزقنا زيارة الحسين في العاجل في هذه الدنيا وشفاعته في الأخرى يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين.